I'm probably going to pop your bubble because there's lore and then there's fact.
On October 14th, we drove 2.5 hours from Pullman, Washington to Wallace, Idaho to discover the truth for ourselves. At first glance, Wallace, Idaho is just another small town in the state. However, a lush history of mining, men, mayhem, and madams keeps tourists intrigued. Wallace produced 21% of the world's mined silver for over 100 years. This boom made Wallace home to miners, brothels, and saloons.
You could pretty much go anywhere you wanted to and play.
As a mining community with a playful attitude, Wallace became notorious for its permissive approach toward gambling, drinking, and prostitution.
Brothels were just a part of life.
Eddie and Brenda Johnson owned Johnson's Gems in the heart of downtown Wallace. Eddie grew up in the Silver Valley and was a teenager while the brothels were active.
One of the things that we used to do was we would go to the grocery store and get our fishing license. Because you can get a fishing license at any age. Scratch it out and put our birthday a little further along.
Executive Director of Sierra Silver Mine Tours, Sue Halley, recalls an incident from the height of Wallace's red light district.
I saw this a couple of times where the girl would be upstairs and she'd open the back window and the big black car would drive up down below and the money would come out.
Behind me here is the very balcony that Sue Halley witnessed a sex worker throwing down money to her pimp prior to the FBI raid.
As a result of the AIDS epidemic, prostitution showed signs of a steady decline through the 80s.
The brothels had already closed. It was during the AIDS epidemic still, and most of the girls were working on the streets of Spokane, so they could not get girls to come into the houses.
Still, gambling continued to thrive until 1991 when the FBI swarmed the town looking for evidence of corruption, gambling, and drug dealing. The FBI orchestrated a 3-year sting operation in the greater Wallace area.
But they already knew where everyone was and what everyone was doing. So why it took them 3 years, I don't know. Maybe they enjoyed their job just a little too much.
Finally, on June 23, 1991, 150 FBI agents, accompanied by SWAT teams, raided Shoshone County with 60 search warrants. They raided 58 bars and seized over $500,000 in cash and gambling machines.
31 years ago, the FBI came through this door at Silver Corner and gave the bartender this search and seizure warrant.
Mike Brandstetter was the defense attorney representing the bars. He argues that the raid was merely a front to get at Sheriff Frank Sinkovich, who the federal government thought was corrupt.
If they really wanted to stop gambling, they could have arrested 2 guys. But they had to get out and seize everything and try to make a link to Frank Sinkovich.
Since the raid, Wallace locals have redefined the town.
But we made it, got through it. Now we cater to tourism.
Cultural tourism is our museums and of course our mine tour. And we have a lot of recreational opportunities.
Small business owners have really made the Wallace area come back, and they are very committed to making it beautiful for all of our guests that come here.
Wallace today is preserved by the historic district and locals who are proud to call Wallace home.
Everybody loves Wallace. We love Wallace, and we really do support all of the businesses and fundraisers, that kind of thing.
And we are the center of the universe.
Yeah.
Rather than shying away from it, Wallace embraces the sordid parts of its rich history, and this merely scratches the surface in this town of intrigue. Reporting from the center of the universe, I'm Alice Huber.